Hi, JDL Brushes here, and we have a new video. This time we're working on an architectural sketch, and this time I'm actually taking more time when it comes to the shadows, because I did learn from the last video that trying to rush this face kind of does take a toll in how your rendering will look like in the very end. So yeah, definitely take your time when it comes to doing these shadows, and yeah, because it will make your sketch have more form. And if you're not deliberate and specific with your shadows, at least in a very essential way, it will make your sketch look very sketchy, right? And you want to add some validity or some structure to your sketch, so spend some time with the shadows as I'm doing now. And yeah, so again, I'm working on the shadows in a multiply mode to kind of let the line sketch below speak out and have a voice in the conversation. So yeah, when it comes to picking the colors for the shadow, I actually wouldn't be so strict with that. You can always change it up later. And you can see me using the distort tool to kind of play with those random marker strokes and use those random marker strokes for the grass. And yeah, it does add a little more texture to the image, to the sketch. So yeah, and once you're done with the shadows, I recommend playing with the leveling of the shadows, because you can actually make it pop out more by increasing or decreasing the contrast of that shadow layer or layers, right? And then after that, you're basically just coloring in the white shapes, right? And it almost feels like like you're coloring a coloring book in a way, except it's for adults or something, right? So yeah, it definitely helps to have some kind of reference so you can see how things may appear, and you can have the choice to kind of abstract how things will go. Say for the glass windows stuff, usually it has that reflective kind of characteristic to it. So usually what appears behind the view or the camera view will reflect on the window. So in this case, it's kind of reflecting the tropical kind of forest that's kind of in front of it. So yeah, make sure you have some kind of reference with you if you're having trouble rendering something out. So usually I do use the hue and saturation thing, and increase the saturation. And I also use the color balance tool to kind of pump up actually the purples in a way. Now, not always the purples, but I definitely like to see how the rendering would look if it had a different kind of tint to it, or a different kind of color shade. So play with the color balance as you see fit. And again, I end things out with some white detail lines to kind of define the silhouette and some of the major shapes of the architectural landscape. And adding some details, to the trees and stuff. There you go. So that's the marker brush pack for you folks. And Whichever your art, whatever your tool, make it beautiful. Bye.